slept a week. I walk the floor from 9 to 4, and in between I drink.
Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with Dallas-based jazz singer and songwriter Corey Breedlove. This up-and-coming jazz cat has a distinct sound and is gearing up for his initial solo release in the fall of 2017. After hearing his rendition of Black Coffee, it was imperative to get to know this force in music, and he discussed a great deal. So get to know him and dig this interview, my friends.
Thanks for taking a minute out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
So I don't know exactly how I ran into you. I don't know if it was like Twitter or what happened, but I'm very glad I did. Once I heard Black Coffee, it's like those record execs always say, within the first 5 seconds they know whether or not they have a real deal thing going on. And then of course when you were, a whiskey enthusiast and a philosopher, like that was it. So you did good. You painted the right picture. So
thanks, man.
Yeah, right on. Let's just go ahead and dive into it here. And let me ask you, your first release is coming out in fall of 2017. Is that still on target?
I'm actually pushing it back because I'm releasing 2 different EPs that we've done. They're being finalized right now. One with a killer jazz band. It's a quintet that I was playing with. And then the other one is actually an all Drake, who's a pop rapper, hip-hop guy. I'm doing an all jazz Drake EP.
Wow.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
That's cool. Very cool. Let me ask you this. You grew up in Dallas, born and raised. Talk to me about your childhood. I know about the Sinatra album that you got for $1, but how did you get into music? How did all this happen for you?
Well, I've started as a songwriter because that was really where I found the love of music, was being able to express things in a way to turn things that weren't so good in my life into things that were beautiful and that other people could enjoy. It's just something about that still just is so beautiful to me. So I probably have written over 300, 400 songs my whole life. And leading up to that, when I was younger, my great-granddad was actually a big band leader. He played 26 instruments, Wendell Breedlove. I didn't know him very well, but when I was learning the saxophone, I went to see his big band, and it just blew me away.
That's pretty impressive. So is his music out there pretty readily?
Yeah, he was writing for a lot of people. He's passed now. He lived an interesting life. I honestly didn't know him too well. I wish there's still some pieces of music that he has out there. I'd love to get my big band to play them.
That would be cool. What is it about the American Songbook that gets you going so much?
The American Songbook, it's just like when I tell people what I do, I've never had anything but excitement about it. There's just something about that time period that is just so romantic, and it's just such a fond idea of, I'd say the American pops at the time with Sinatra and all those guys. And it was the songs, man. It just brought me to tears when I heard it for the first time because it's just so true. It's just such great writing, beautiful songs,
Without a doubt. The one thing that strikes me is that it seems to me as though you're very comfortable on stage. Were you ever nervous in the beginning, or is it a natural fit for you?
Man, I can't remember a time where I've been nervous, to be honest. The energy, of course, is huge. So I think you can just kind of do what you want with that. If you aren't prepared or something, your energy is not going to be good, but it's still going to be adrenaline. It's still going to be that tension,
Yeah.
So I honestly love it, man. I love performing more than anything.
So are you going to branch out when you get this album out? It looks like you're localized in the Dallas area. Is this something you're going to kind of widen your scope?
That's a good question. I would like to, man. Touring, it just seems so difficult to just kind of get that started. I think a lot of music is just internet now. So, I almost think people don't really need to tour as much as they used to. But I would love to, man. That's the goal, to see the world and travel and meet new people. And I'd love to get there soon.
Let's kind of get into your jazz heroes, and let's whittle a list down here. If you could get into the jazz DeLorean time machine and go back in time, who would you catch? Who would you want to see that would blow your mind?
Ooh. That's a good question. Shit, I try to get all that I could in one day. If I was in a time machine, I just hit every gig I could.
That's right.
I would love to see. Of course, I'd like to see Sinatra when he was younger. I think it would be most incredible to see Chet Baker. Just to catch him in his, just at any point in his career would be really incredible. And also Billie Holiday. I wish that I could see her perform just once.
Yeah, that would be something. Why do you love jazz?
So I grew up listening to rock and roll, The Doors, Pink Floyd, Radiohead. And now I'm getting into hip hop a little more. Jazz it has this quality to it that is just, it never disappoints me. And it's always something I can go to, and it's almost like a home now. It's just like, I love everything about it, honestly. I love the experimentation. I love what it's taught me, how far you can stretch music, and in the confinement of a song. But there's a lot to say about that, you know?
Without a doubt. What's one of the nicest things, speaking of saying things, what's one of the nicest things that someone has said about your music to you?
That's another good question. When I first started playing standards, I was playing a lot of retirement homes, trying to pay my bills. And I was doing it with a buddy from church. Somebody, this happened a few times, but she came up to me, an older lady, and she was in tears. She was crying, weeping, like tears of joy. And all she could say was, "Thank you." And there was just emotion in her that it came out in me, and it was just such an incredible exchange that we had there. That was pretty incredible.
Let me ask you this. Everyone has a version of who you are, your family, your friends, your business associates, those that you play live for. But when you wake up and face the world, other than being a self-proclaimed philosopher and a whiskey enthusiast, who do you think you are?
Oh, man. I feel pretty good about who I am at this point in my life. I've got people in my life that I love, and I think that's important for anybody to. Man, that's a tough question. Yeah, whiskey enthusiast, man.
There you go.
That sounds about right.
There you go. I like it. There's no right or wrong answer for that. So let me ask you this: you're kind of on the cusp of a new album. Things are happening. 10 years from now, I ask you right at the top of an interview, what's been going on? What are you going to want to tell me has happened?
Doing more interviews. No, I'm I'm touring, dude. Like, Bublé's going to be opening up for me. It's going to be great.
I like it. That's the spirit right there. Corey, hey, thanks for taking a minute out. Thanks for talking about your life, your music, and your world.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, man.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to yet another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in Dallas, New York, KC, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Corey for his cool and his music. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com. And for everything Neon Jazz, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Maybe you'll come around. Maybe come around.
Neon Jazz.